Be in the know with unlimited access to IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. Our in-depth coverage of all things business means you'll always be completely in the know. Subscribe for just $1 a week. Get started now at ibj.com/trial offer.
Kristen, Dane. This program is brought to you by myindiana529.com. I have been talking about myindiana529.com for a decade and a half. And this week, when my daughter got her PSAT scores back for the first time ever, it hit me that we are at a milestone. We are 18 months away from using our myindiana529.com account. We've been saving into it for years. I encourage you to do the same, whether you have a small youngster in your life and or maybe you're a grandparent or a close family friend that gives better gifts than other family friends who are not nearly as close. You can start an account for as little as $10. You can gift into it. If you're an Indiana taxpayer, you may receive up to $1,500 a year via tax credit. There are flexible investment options, and there's a lot of variety in terms of how you can use this thing, from tuition to fees and equipment and so much more. This is what I use for my family. This is what my family uses for other parts of our family. I can't tell you enough how important it is for you to go to myindiana529.com. Gifting season is anew. We are months away, weeks away, days away from the big holidays. You know what says I love you more than a t-shirt of a band you've never heard of? A contribution to a 529 account. I'm Pete the Planner. Do that. Hey, everybody. That's Peter Dunn. I'm back into character here. Hey, so you noticed that Kristen's obviously babied up, right? I think it's probably a verb that isn't appropriate, and I will catch something for that. Dame has been gone last week, and Dame is gone this week. And he and I were slacking this morning. He's like, are you going to make up a really cool story as to what to do or why I'm gone? And let me tell you, I thought about it, but the reality is here at Your Money Line, which is our business, he's really busy. He's really busy. And so I just frankly couldn't pull him off the line. So he, along with our team, they answer financial questions all day long, and we're just slammed. It's that time of year. So I bring in a co-host today, a special guest co-host. This is a person that has been in my broadcasting life since 2007. The funny thing is, before we started this today, he and I were talking backstage, and he was the producer of my first radio show. And I thought it was in 2009. He just told me it was 2 years earlier than I thought, which tracks. His name is none other than the one and only Chris Spangle. Chris, welcome back to the Pete the Planner Show.
Oh, I know. I look forward to ruining it again.
So, Chris, we were at WXNT, or you were at WXNT, 1430. I mean, just beautiful place on the dial, AM. And you were working there in the morning show and some other stuff. I came in, I was like, let me do a financial weekend show. And you were running the board, and then you'd occasionally chime in. And as I've reminded you 2 or 3 times in the last couple of years, my favorite moment, our favorite interaction, I have two great memories of us back then. Number one, you were the first libertarian I'd ever met in my entire life.
And hopefully you were hoping the last, I'm sure.
Well, no, it's like you kind of blew my mind. You're like, all right, take this test. And it was like a test in the back of Cosmo, and like, if I'm a good kisser. And it was basically, am I a libertarian? And like, turns out you gave everyone that test.
Yeah, the world's smallest political quiz. I actually went to work for those people in 2013. I was such a big quiz enthusiast.
The second thing I remember, and again, this is the thing I bring up to you all the time, is at one point in time, I don't know, I'm sort of always sort of full of it. And I was like, yeah, being in the media is tough. And you're like, you're not in the media.
Well, one thing about me that you said on Twitter is so true, is I was very cocky and even less of a filter back then than I do now. And I remember chiming in too often. And at one point you cracked the mic, and you know, there was an intercom system where only I could hear what you were saying.
Yeah.
And you said, I pay for this hour. Could you please stop talking so much? and I have never stopped feeling guilty about that. I was like,
Well,
I'm ruining his show.
payback today. You're a regular listener to the show. You now work for IBJ Media,
Yeah.
and you help get this to air for IBJ. So it is fun to have Worlds Collide. You and I, when you were at the Bob and Tom show, you helped facilitate some stuff there for me too. So
Yeah.
welcome to the show. Yeah, you're an amazing podcaster. What would you say in terms? You know this. How many millions of listens have your podcasts over the years gathered?
So my personal one, that's gone on for 13 years, that's around 7 million. Centrist libertarian talk ain't what it used to be, so that's slowed down a little. The pat down, I would say, is somewhere around 20 million, and then if you want to count Bob and Tom, they get like millions a month. So yeah, it's a lot. And then I help people with podcasts, so it's I couldn't even at this point count. I've done it since 2007, which is actually how we met,
Mhm.
because you came in 2007, like the year after podcasting started, to ask me how it worked. And then I talked you into a radio show, so it worked out for you. But now here we are back on podcasting. So yeah, it's tens of millions.
Our listeners that frequent Black Entertainment Television, BET, also may know you. Is it right? Because Miss Pat, you're Miss Pat. That show is that on BET, right? No.
BET, Miss Pat Settles It. Season 3 is on right now. I'm sadly not on season 3, but I was on 6 episodes in the first season and all of the second season.
What's your role as a television personality on a faux courtroom, real courtroom thing with a comedian? Like, what was your role on the show?
The white guy.
Okay.
So I was kind of the voice of, I don't want to say reason, but it just sort of helping advance the story. But I was in the jury next to Ray J. Yes, that Ray J.
Oh,
And other people. And we just crack jokes at all the cases, and they're real cases. And Miss Pat's the judge. And it's sort of like Judge Judy meets Wild and Out. And it's super fun. So check it out.
hello, everybody. We got Jameson back in the house. He's been out fusing glass. So hello, Jameson, Danza, Jen, Tom, Rick, Andy, Sarah, Jason, Quincy. I'm just reading people's names on the internet. All right. So Chris, which by the way, for a long time, a lot of people have just called you Spangle.
Yeah.
And I honestly, to you, I think you shared with me once when people started calling you Sprinkle and you started getting upset. And so like I try my hardest to call you Chris to your face,
Just
but I still call you
yeah.
Spangle.
Spangle is like just the name. I mean, and it transferred over to my siblings in school, and yeah, it's. I got mad at Spanky because
Yeah,
it wasn't said in kindness. So
sure.
if you call me Spanky, I know it's loving and generous. So
Well, you always handle things in a star-spangled manner, and I appreciate that. All right, so I asked you what you wanted to talk about on the show today, since you're going to be here. A little
yeah,
financial spin to it, and you hit me with a weird one, so that's what we're doing. You
yeah,
said I want to talk about willpower. Can you give us a little context before we start the show?
yeah. You have it, and I don't. So I wanted to come sit at the feet of the master because knowing you for so long, right? I wouldn't say willpower is like in my top strengths. I love comfort. I love, we had a victory in our house. We went and celebrated and ate rich food. And
Mm,
I worked out yesterday for roughly 7.5 minutes. And and then I look at Pete, and he exercises every day. The last time I saw you, I'm going to be honest, he jokes
mm.
about how his weight, but you look a little jacked
Yeah, a little bit.
when you see him in person. And you not only have your stuff together financially, but you also own this like super amazing fast growing company that wins awards for growing fast. Like, you're very disciplined, you're very on top of it, like you're a grown up. And I have worked in radio for 20 years, so I'm not, which is why I worked in radio. And so I think your connection of exercise and fitness and money is very astute. And I think those two things, if you can get those mastered and have willpower around that, and maybe I'm just speaking out of my own anxieties about my weaknesses, but it seems like if you develop willpower around money and fitness, then it sort of unlocks so many other things in your life and discipline in other areas. And I just think that is such an insightful thing that I'd love to hear you talk more about.
Fair enough. We'll take it. We'll do it. And obviously, we'll disclaim this once we get on the radio. I don't know. I'll just share my experience. That's it. I'm not an expert at this, but I'll share what I know, and then we'll kind of walk through it.
I just got worried that I cursed accidentally.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We didn't cover the ground rules, even though you kind of know them. We don't curse in the show because I don't want to edit it.
Right.
Number two is once we're on the radio, we don't talk about sponsors because it's a whole other platform. You know how it goes.
For
You know.
sure. Yeah. I get that part. It's,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here in my studio where I do curse on shows and I'm like, oh, I gotta reel it in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I talk about this a lot. Off the air, I have a way of speaking that somehow I've never slipped on air in however many years I've been doing
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I've never slipped.
Chick McGee does it like once a week.
Chick McGee.
And he's a professional broadcaster.
I know. I thought I saw him at a Vegas airport a couple days ago. It turns out it was just another middle-aged man with a mustache. But he doesn't have he does still have a beard now, I guess.
Sort of, yeah.
All right, let's do this. Do you have a clock that you can
I do.
All right. So we go 9:22. 9:22.
Got it.
And we're beginning in 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us at askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And occasionally I check that email inbox. I did this week. There's some good questions. Alas, we have a different topic. Kristen is still out on maternity leave with young Margaret. Dame is out on, he's working. I've just got to be honest. Dame is gone last week, and this week he's working. He's back next week. And I needed a guest host because last week I just sat on here and had a midlife crisis in front of you. So, always good to welcome a longtime friend, my first producer of the show back from 2007, veteran podcaster and Politico, Chris Spangle. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Pete. Yes, I've met you back when I worked with WIBC's Abdul Hakim Shabazz.
You were carrying around a Glenn Beck book, if I also remember correctly.
I have my photo with Glenn Beck and Paul Poteet. It's one of my prized possessions.
Boy, I've got a Paul Poteet photo as well. And it's weird that it's above my bed, but it's great. Now, Chris, today on the show, we're gonna dip into willpower. I let you choose a topic. You said, Pete, you seem to have some willpower. Whether that's true or not, we could argue. But let's talk willpower and its impact on our financial life, the impact of our rest of our lives, and how to find it if you don't feel like you got it. So, Chris, I want to start with this story I don't believe I've told publicly ever. And that is that I had a terrible work ethic for most of my childhood into adolescence and arguably most of my 20s. And the challenge here is that my dad had the strongest work ethic that I had ever seen. And at some point in time, as people tend to look up to a parent, I looked up to my dad and I said, I literally can never work as hard as he did. So I didn't try.
I have a very similar situation. I just was like, I'm just lazy and I'm not changing.
Yeah. So I found myself there. I was still having some success based on enthusiasm and stupidity. And then by 2020, or by then I was 28 years old, this is back in 2006, 2007, when I met you.
Yeah.
It kind of all started to come together where I wanted to work hard. So I want to start there. When talking about willpower, I want to talk about enjoying hard work. Here's what I know about you. You love hard work.
I do.
Hard work.
Yeah, I absolutely do. I am very fortunate that I get to wake up and do everything I've ever wanted to do since I was a kid. And I've gotten to work in every place I've ever wanted to work. And it's just because I dropped out of college in 2005 and I got an opportunity at the radio station where we met. And I knew that because I didn't get my college degree, I was going to have to work twice as hard. And I just, worked at it. And, things were a little rough for the first 10 years, but the last 10 years have been amazing. And I just look forward to getting up every single day. Every day's a Saturday to me. Like it doesn't feel like work. So I don't sit there and watch the clock and go, "Ugh, can't wait to get out of here." So, and I think you've got to pick something that you really like to do and just work at it.
So let's start there, because when we start to talk about willpower, and we're going to talk about willpower in a few different ways today here on the show. We're going to, of course, talk about money, and you've got to find your way to fitness and food and relationships, and for some people, faith, right? You kind of gotta take it through that. But let's begin with this concept of knowing what it feels like to work hard in some area of your life. And the strange part about this, Chris, is that you naturally are like, I like to work hard at work, which is
Yeah.
great. And your interests, I dare not call them hobbies, because there's so much more than hobbies. They're
Yeah.
your political interests, which you've really have leaned into over the years, and then obviously your podcasting interests. So do you draw any level of delineation between your job hard work from your interest hard work, or is it the same category for you?
It's just sort of all mushed together, right? When I was working for my dad doing construction cleanup and janitorial work in the 2000s, like that was work because it wasn't mentally stimulating. It was just sort of like you're got to get this job done that nobody else wants to do. But now it's just yeah, my hobbies are what I make money at, which I'm very blessed to have as a career. But like you said, I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in society. I'm interested in how it functions. I'm interested in taking that and applying it to media and putting that out into the world and then helping people do the same thing. And I'm pretty open-minded. Like I don't really care what the societal message is as long as it benefits the common good. So I try really hard to take the skill set that I've learned over 20 years and then help other people do it too.
When you think about the byproduct of all that hard work and outcomes from it, is there a specific outstanding outcome that you stick out, an extraordinary outcome where you go, man, all of this hard work led to this moment, this opportunity? I'm just curious. There has to be some sort of outcome to the hard work, or then the willpower, it's hard to muster. So we're
Yeah.
getting to willpower, but I just got to know, like, what's the thing that you were like, yeah, this is the hard work.
It is being on a network television show for 2 seasons called Miss Pat Settles It on BET. And I auditioned for it when I literally thought I was being scammed. I didn't think that this was an audition. The guy was like in this nondescript office. I thought he was trying to get my social security number and rip me off. But it turns out it was a real audition for the show. And then I went and shot the pilot and I made it through the pilot. And through those 2 rounds, I beat out very, very talented people and ended up on the show. Got a shot on the first season, was good enough to get the full second season. And the fruits of that financially have been it's literally life changing in terms of my you should have checked my credit score before inviting me on.
Yeah.
But it's a lot better now thanks to residuals. But looking at that, going, very few people get that experience, and all of the hard work that went into producing the skills that allowed me to flourish in that environment and have that experience have been amazing. And I'm at a point in life where the hard work is kind of paying off, and I'm a lot less anxious because of it, and I feel a lot less crunched because of it, just because uh, things are paying off. I won an award last week for a group that I cared deeply about, and they honored me as like the Trailblazer in Action Award because of all the effort that I've put into the organization over the years. So it's very meaningful to win that award, right? So now I'm at a point 20 years later where people are sort of recognizing, hey, you've done a lot and it's been really cool and you've worked really hard at it. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like that. It just sort of feels like I've still got so far to go and so much more to do.
First, let me validate the fact that the last time I saw you, now that you're doing so financially well, your beard was well oiled with liniments and various salves.
It's Pert Plus. That's what I use in the shower.
There, thanks for that imagery.
I'm not trying to
No,
be mean,
too
with your
late.
hair situation, but yeah, Pert
Oh,
Plus.
okay. So here's where we go. We got a minute left in this segment, but it's the perfect setup, right? So your career's worth of hard work have recently led to amazing outcomes that you can be really proud of.
Right.
And it took willpower, but what you were dealing with was discipline. I think when we come back, what we're going to talk about is shortening the time frame from a career's worth of work for great outcomes to how can you deliver amazing, impactful outcomes in a shorter period of time by finding the motivation in this long form career and jabbing it into daily habits in a completely different area of your life. So that's what we're doing this week. Willpower and money, and so much more with special guest co-hosts Chris Spangle. Coming back, money and willpower, and then fitness and food. All that is next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. This portion of the program is brought to you by Herculean Meal Prep. I was in Las Vegas, Nevada this week, and let me tell you about a $32 lunch bowl that I had that did not taste good. Was $32, and I waited 60 minutes to get the lunch bowl. That is the complete opposite of Herculean Meal Prep. When I got back into the office this week, yesterday I went straight for the pot roast because that's what my soul needed today. Buffalo mac and cheese, buffalo chicken mac and cheese. Chris himself loves a Herculean meal prep. I will tell you, Chris, we're talking willpower today. Nothing stokes willpower like knowing you're getting the right food at the right price with the right level of convenience, and that's why I like Herculean meal prep.
I'm an enormous Herculean fan. I lost 80 pounds, and Herculean was actually a big part of that in 2017, 2018, 2019. I relied on them for lunch every day, and it was my choices where I worked were Burger King or McDonald's and or alibis with rich food, and instead I chose Herculean, and it really paid off in the long run because you get good protein, not any preservatives. It's really really tasty, and I can't recommend it enough.
For those wondering, I was like, oh, well, is it like really processed and that's how they help you lose weight? No, it's just clean food. It's just clean food that is portioned appropriately. So go to HerculeanMealPrep.com. They are frozen meals. They will deliver them to you. You can pick them up in any of their Indiana locations and tell them the bald man sent you, Telly Savalas. No, Pete the Planner. Chris, no one knows who Telly Savalas is anymore.
No, I know. I was raised in part with older grandparents, and so that's right in my wheelhouse.
What are you doing this weekend? You doing any good?
No, we have a weekend where we have nothing to do, and I'm so excited about it. I'll probably do a little extracurricular work and get caught up on that. But other than that, lounging and watching history documentaries.
Willpower at its finest.
Yes.
I going, of course, a soccer weekend, going to St. Louis to watch a 13-year-old kick a ball against other 13-year-olds. So always that. The next weekend, Milwaukee for 2.5 days to watch more ball kicking.
Do you like doing all that? That seems like a lot.
It's a fair question, and I'll give you my answer. I love spending time with my son in the car on the way to trips. We grab a meal, we stay in a hotel room, we get up, we have breakfast, we go to his game. I will never get those moments back ever again. So
yeah,
in some way, it is an investment in just memories with him. Second thing is, as a broadcaster, I of course have taken the mantle of live streaming his games back to the families that can't make the drive.
Oh, that's right.
And so my narcissism can really shine through because people don't know. I mean, I'm a soccer dad. Like, they don't know
how much of a big deal you are.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I would just say more of like, they don't know that like this happens to be my skill set. So people are like, I listen to it like, you're really good at this. You should. And I'm like, thanks.
So you're not just like running a camera. You're like, all right, and here comes Teddy up the middle. Oh, and go.
Absolutely. And I'll like do research based on the city we're in. And like, I do a full play-by-play and color, and it's like so that's become a hobby to me.
Okay.
It's obnoxious.
Yeah, I never looked at it that way because I was at a local restaurant over on the west side, and they said 85% of their revenue was team sport, travel sports from the hotels nearby on the weekends.
Hmm.
And I was shocked. And everywhere you travel, you see travel ball people everywhere. And I'm like, man, that just seems like such a grind and expensive. But when you put it in the mindset of like traveling in a car with a kid, which is really the only time you can get them to talk, it seems, at least with our 6-year-old, she'll open up in a way that she won't when she has the ability to watch Paw Patrol or whatever. Now it's YouTube and it's
Yeah.
mind numbing. But yeah, that travel time with your son, that's awesome.
Well, then you end up being good friends with the parents. I met one of
Yeah.
my new best friends, Esteban, through this, and it's just like it's beautiful. So anyway, back to willpower. We're gonna get to money. You know, the weird thing is, I'm making the call here. I'm the executive producer of the show. We're switching to fitness and food, then money. I think to understand money,
Yeah.
you have to understand food first.
Yeah.
That's always been my theory. So let's do that. This segment is 9 minutes and 23 seconds.
Okay.
Coming back. 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show, guest co-host, longtime friend, and honestly, podcasting veteran and Indiana broadcasting. I won't go legend, but I'll say
No.
notable person. His name's Chris Spangle. Chris, hello, hello.
More of a fly on the wall. That's how
Yeah,
I'd
you
put it.
don't have legendary status as a
No.
broadcaster in Indiana, but you have something on the spectrum. It's just short of legendary.
It's just weird. Yeah, so it's behind the scenes, but also not. And I don't know. I don't know how to describe it either.
Fair. Talking willpower today. And first segment, talked a little bit about just like what area of your life have you put in hard work and you found results? And so talking with Chris, it's like he's had an illustrious career and has had some great opportunities financially and otherwise because of it. It's like, well, okay, well, how do you translate that into willpower in the sense that people often think about in the big ones, food and fitness and money? All right, so we're going to start
Yeah.
with food and fitness, Chris, because I think money distracts people. Like money, the concept of financial wellness, it's a tough one where because it's the intersection of math and behavior, and food is just behavior, right? There's still the math of the calories, but it's this concept that I like to think about when I've had various journeys into health and fitness, for that matter. Number one is like, what is motivating you to even consider changing behavior? And Chris, as you probably know, you've probably taken a psychology class before. Have you?
Yeah, I cheated the whole time, but
Right.
I'll pretend like then I know what I'm talking about.
People change behavior usually for one of two reasons. Number one, they get an incredible, motivating vision of what could be, or uh, they experience so much pain based on their current level of behavior that they are in some way forced to change. So let's talk food and fitness for a second. If you think about your relationship with those things, and you talked about weight loss during the break, what motivates you more? The vision of what is glorious or the pain of something else?
You know, it's really changed in the last year or so. It was always sort of the vision of what can be, and I can look like Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. I just need to do 3 sit-ups and I'm there, even though that was a little delusional. But I've kind of fallen off the fitness wagon in the last year. And there's been moments that I've gotten it back, but what I have trouble with is just that moment of decision of I need to like click in and just go. I need to, well, I've got Pete the Planner show. I don't want to get all sweaty before. Let me use my career and my day as an excuse to get out of it. And one of the reasons I wanted to ask you about this is because I remember a tweet or somewhere you said that for 500 days straight, you had exercised.
Mhm.
And the thing you learned the most was time management. And I have thought about that at least monthly since whenever you said it. And, you know, that moment of decision, that moment of, I'm going to do the thing that I'm going to eat the broccoli as opposed to the French fries moment is something that I really struggle with when it comes to overspending and overeating. And it's been a lifelong struggle. It probably always will be. But now I'm in a position where things are starting to hurt. and I'm not flexible, and my leg is giving me problems because of misalignments, and I'm starting to go, hey, there's not the chance of recovery if you let it spiral too far, and now I'm a little scared, and that's the motivator.
So scared is good.
Yeah.
Just so you know, like scared is good because my recent journey is absolutely motivated by fear. Just
Yeah.
seeing
You got
loved
kids,
ones.
I've got little kids. I'm 42, I'm 250 pounds. I can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, the fear of when I eventually, stop working, like, I just want great years. I don't want, like, good years or even okay years. I wanna be able to go do stuff. So,
Yeah.
let's start with this concept of, well, first, real quick, are you a data person? Do you like data? I've never talked about this with you. I kinda
Yeah,
think you yeah?
I'm big time.
Okay. Well, that helps. Like, it really does because that helps with habits. I believe that there's this crossover from sacrifice to self-control that in my life I have to rely on. And it works like this. You're at an airport, your doctor just told you to stop eating cheeseburgers and fries and a beer in every city you're in, and you know you should get a Caesar salad, grilled chicken and dressing on the side. So Chris, that's that's the binary. It's
Right.
right there. And you just had the long day, which is the triggering event. You get to the
Yes.
airport to fly home, and TSA has 2 people working, understandably. Um, there's no air traffic controllers, understandably. In the government anyway, and so you get up to the counter, they've got both, and in that moment, the only thing you should think is the word sacrifice. It's not what I should do. It's not, oh, I'm gonna have to eat this for the next 3 months. It's literally in this moment, I'm going to make a sacrifice. And you will eat your stupid, unsatisfying salad, and you will get very little pleasure from it, but you will have satisfaction in the fact that you sacrifice. So I'm gonna pause there with the getting off the porch mentality there. How do you do with that element, whether it's financially, which we'll get to, or food? How do you get down with that first sacrifice?
Oh, me? I'm terrible. I don't like to be uncomfortable, and the thought of being hungry makes me feel uncomfy, even though I'll be uncomfortable after I eat something like KFC that'll make me miserable.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, I don't do well with that moment.
I'm a stress eater, and so
Oh,
that's where I have to watch my triggers. Are you a stress eater or just in general you like to?
yeah, it's my I come home and I'm like, let's go out to eat. It's been a long day.
I do that too.
Calories, calories, calories.
Are you also a stress spender?
Um, yeah, a little bit. I've really reined that in and gotten better at that. Because I've got a family and a wife that's watching and all that. But when I was single and making okay money, let me just spin, spin, spin.
Let's also enter willpower is interesting because it feels very self-centered, appropriately self-centered, and there doesn't feel like there's external factors. But I'm curious, what level of accountability do you have access to when it comes to food and fitness and money?
I mean, I have accountability in that I have a wife and a 4-month-old, 2-year-old, and 6-year-old. So like I have to be at my best for them. And so there's not somebody that can stand behind me and, knock the fork out of my hand. It'd be great, but that's not realistic. So it's up to me to make that choice. But I'm accountable to the people that rely on me, that care for me.
Like so again, this episode of the Pizza Planner Show, joined by longtime friend Chris Spangle, veteran broadcaster and podcaster, just talking about willpower. I'm not an expert at willpower. I've had some success here and there. Chris, not that you asked, but I don't think your partner is a great accountability partner for behavior-based things. I just
Yeah.
think
I'm
it's
not saying that they're policing me, my
yeah,
wife. I'm saying that their presence mentally makes me think that I need to be accountable to my kids when they need picked up. That when they want to play, when, my wife wants me to be 65. It really hit home when you said a couple weeks ago in the off the record podcast with you that will be coming out next week, when you want to have a great retirement.
yeah.
You don't want to be non-functional. So I'm accountable to that future. I'm accountable to that vision, I guess is how I would put it.
All right. So I am no expert, and we will touch a moment and then go to break. Here's where I'm thinking with you.
Mhm.
You have put all this hard work in over this huge long period of time, and then you have this outcome. And so you were trying to make decisions about eventually being able to spend time with them versus what it will literally give you now in the moment. And I think that could be some of the motivation factor. Again, I'm an armchair person at this at best. We're going to come back and do more. Willpower, money, food, fitness. How do you find it? And how do you find success? That's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Maybe, maybe. I mean, like, I love my wife more than anything in the world. I
Yeah.
like to look at her face still. Known her for 30 years. I just like to sit and look at her face. Is it creepy? Sometimes. Does she have restraining orders on me? Probably. I don't know. I don't know how my case Indiana works, but I'll say this. I love looking at her face. I would literally do anything for her. But if she was like, hey, there is a frozen Reese's cup egg, peanut butter egg in the freezer, and I don't want you to have it because it's important for you to not have it. I'm gonna eat it because I love it too, and I love Rice Krispie treats. So like, I think having your romantic partner as your accountability partner for something like food, fitness is tough. Money's a little easier, but food and fitness, it's so personal. I think you actually need a different person.
Yeah. Yeah. And that may be fair. And even then I'm not like accountable. In that case, like, I'm not getting a stern talking to. I'm an external processor, so therefore you may be right. And then I don't know. But that's the thing. It's like with money, when I've been in some of the worst positions, it's like I'm so in the hole, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the hole with fitness because I can go to Orange Theory. I've had personal trainers in the past, but there's no, and I wasn't very good at being accountable to them because it's like, well, I pay you, right? So it's a
Yeah.
little difficult to find an outside expert. But emotionally, with my therapist, I did go through 4 years of therapy twice a week because that's how bad it was, and I really felt accountable to her. So I felt, you know, I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, there's something there. I'm from
Mm.
again, I'm gonna keep saying I'm not an expert because I don't want to be that guy. But like from my opinion or perspective, I
Hey, we're
think
just two bros talking about fitness, okay?
two
And my just two bros.
it's
You
just
don't
we're in the brosphere. What's it, the podcast?
the
What
manosphere.
manosphere? Um,
Two jack dudes talking about lids.
um, people often will ask me like what I listen to. I have to admit, I listen to a lot of the Manosphere podcasts, but it's fun.
Really?
But here's why. And I don't talk about this because it's weird because it's so nuanced that people are like that's BS. I've talked to you about this. I love listening and consuming material that I fundamentally disagree with.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's not to feel haughty. It's which is fun. It's to say, okay, I disagree with this person so much. I have to understand their thinking more,
Mhm.
good, bad, or otherwise. So either A, I will develop empathy for those I disagree with, which is great, or B, I will maybe evolve my thinking to a better place. And so I listen to most of the Manosphere. There's one I cannot listen to. It's too much.
I think there is like smart people need mental exercises, and the mental exercise of arguing with friends that disagree with me and finding the little points of like the messaging, I guess, or oh, I see why they think that. I understand that better. I don't know. I spend my whole life around people I disagree with because um I'm not right and I'm not left and everything's political now. So you I kind of like it
Yeah.
because I get that mental exercise.
You're also in a moment in time in which you could point to both sides and be like, everyone's an idiot. And everyone's like, that Chris Spangle knows his stuff.
You got to just I don't know. There's in the willpower in the political sense, and we don't have to go this on the radio show, but it's like where's the common good? I gave up. I sold my 100,000 libertarian Facebook page
Mm.
because in 2020, the addiction of going on there
Mm.
and smashing the outrage button and getting 2 million, and it was just like, this is toxic to me. It's toxic to them. And I had to kind of walk away from that addiction. I'm not still off of my phone addiction yet, but in the political sense, it's just constantly poking is
Yeah, dude, I've been
really
there.
prevalent.
I remember arguing with people on Twitter. I would quote tweet their thoughts and then say something witty that hoped that all my followers would then attack them. It was so like, I think
Yeah.
about it, I cringe. I'm like, wow, I was part of that. So anyway,
Yeah.
let's continue. 2 segments left. 3, 2. Oh, wait, this is 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
Got it.
3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show, talking willpower today. No, not a small Australian motorsports driver. The ability to tell yourself you want to do something and then do it consistently. All right. Chris Spangle is my guest, co-host, longtime broadcaster, podcaster, friend. Chris, it's the speed round where I ask you questions so I can armchair willpower you. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
What time do you wake up in the morning?
6 a.m.
Do you have an addictive personality?
Absolutely.
Both healthy and unhealthy, but obviously from time to time unhealthy, right?
Never drank in my life or tried a drug because I know it about myself. I knew it early.
Yeah, it's the old cocaine and video games thing. You don't try them because you'll love them and they'll ruin your life.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Gosh, am I gonna have to edit that? All right. So
Leave it in. Leave it in.
all right. So, Chris, next up. Do you like doing really difficult things? Not to tell other people you did difficult things, but like truly nutty ultra marathon or like, do you love the idea of like, I'm going to do something stupid hard?
Absolutely not. I'm the exact opposite. I like to sit in a state of homeostasis where I'm perfectly suspended and not moving and watching TV. That's my default state.
Okay. Okay. Well, I will say this again, we're just drawing contrasts and things, but I love wildly stupid hard things. And that's, I'm just putting it out there. Like I love that when I wrote a series of books in 2015, I wrote 6 250-page books in 4 months. And that is the dumbest thing I've ever
It's
done.
crazy.
It is crazy. But it also, it ruined me because now I look at that and I go, well, I can do anything. I literally can do whatever because I did that. So it kind of, at some level, it can break you the other way.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I think, and we'll get the money here in a second. But let's talk food and fitness. I think if you've got an addictive personality, what you have to get addicted to is to something that is consistent enough that that sacrifice turns into self-control. Like I think whether it's financial or food or fitness, if you're doing something you don't want to do, you can quickly say, well, I don't want to do it. What's it really matter? But if you turn those sacrifices and you stack the sacrifices, anecdotally, I think it takes about 6 weeks of consistent sacrifice for the sacrifice to cross over into self-control. And then it's no longer, I wish I had the burger instead of the salad. It's, well, this is what I do.
So in other words, it's like, think about the experience that you dreaded. Like, let's say roller coasters. Okay,
Yeah.
I've built up roller coasters. I can't go on a roller coaster. I'm gonna vomit. It's gonna be the worst experience ever. I don't. What if I die? What if I fall out? Then you get on a roller coaster and it's like not nearly as bad as you thought, and now you're a roller coaster enthusiast. Is that sort of the thing where it's like, look, I'm gonna go to Orange Theory. I'm gonna do it 4 times a week, and then the thing that I think feels horrible will eventually not feel horrible, and it'll just become like wallpaper.
I think it's the 6th time you ride the roller coaster you hate. I don't think it's the first time. I think
Mm.
eating that salad, lifting weights, going to Orange Theory, the first handful of times you do it, if especially if you're coming from like a homeostasis, is terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful. And you just have to go, I know this is gonna be awful, but I gotta make it to this period of time. So I think that's a big part of it. And financially, financial show here. I think the idea of well, I'm just gonna stop spending money. Like, willpower from a financial perspective isn't just about not spending money. It's about replacing the transaction with something more meaningful. So it's like, okay, well, we're not going to get carry out tonight, Chris. We're not going to spend $62. We're going to have a meal that we have. It's $15, which means we've got $47 we didn't spend. What most people do when they make that sacrifice is they go, we made the right decision. But there's $47 there that represent the right decision. And unless you move that money over to savings, you'd literally just sacrifice nothing. So I
Right.
think with money, and you get into sacrifice and self-control, there is a number. That's why I asked about data. There is a number to the decision. And if you don't take that number and stack it into a healthy category, it's almost like virtue signaling. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, we don't go out to eat. It's like, okay, well, what do you do with the money? No, it just sits there until we go out to eat. Like that's what people do.
Right. Yeah, we want to buy a house next year. And so watching the credit score go up and the savings account go up has been a goal that has helped us inform our decisions. But when there was no goal and it's just you're just like these are the fixed cost of renting and this is what it is and we have no if you have a vacation that you're saving for, it just becomes a little bit different when you have that psychology of if I sacrifice now, I get to enjoy later, as opposed to, oh, tut tut, you ought to do the right thing and ought to have a credit score of 780. And, so I see what you're saying because I've felt that in my own life. I love to buy books
You
to
do have a book problem.
a detrimental book problem in the past for sure, and I'm not joking. And I had to stop, like cold turkey, like no more books. Like go to the library. I'm the only person that asked the library to order books, but I had to sacrifice that because I had other goals that we have. I just haven't found that for fitness. I don't know why, but yeah, I've sort of found that in money if I have that goal, like buying a house, then all of a sudden it becomes a lot different because then it's like, oh, I'm checking my credit score every day. All right. It's like gamification.
Okay, well, thank you. And speaking of gamification, can I give you some unsolicited financial thoughts?
Please, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so you have a cost of living right now that associated with renting and utilities and
Hmm.
upkeep for whatever your responsibility is. So that equals a dollar amount.
Right.
Okay. You're saving money for a down payment. You're trying to fix your credit score to make the borrowing less expensive.
Hmm.
But the one thing that can really connect the dots here is that you start living on the new mortgage payment, utilities, and upkeep expense level. So
Mm.
so that is I'm gonna just use round numbers, so don't get, bent out of shape here. Let's
Sure.
say it costs you $1,500 a month for rent, utilities, and whatever upkeep you're responsible for, and it's gonna cost you $2,200 to
Nice 2015 numbers you got there, Pete.
I said don't get caught up in it. Like, we're not here to talk economics. This is a fitness show. So, whatever the difference there, it's $700 a month.
Right.
Yes, you need to be saving money for the down payment anyway. I think you have to save an additional amount equal to what that gap is.
Mm.
Otherwise, when you get in the new home, you will have a less of a propensity to save money because you'll just then reabsorb the savings you were making on a monthly basis back into the new living expenses. So I think the right way to do this, and plus it's motivating. It's like, okay, well, now we've superpowered that. But unless you calculate what your new expenses are going to be in May when you guys buy that home, you're not going to find the motivation you need. And by the way, you're going to make it harder on yourself because then what you'll do is you'll stop saving money in May because it's just the new expenses are higher. Does that
Yeah, that's what scares me to death about. Like we're pretty close to being debt free, no car payments. Worked really hard to do that. And then we're gonna take on a house and next thing you know, $5,000 in plumbing and 7,000 for a roof or what this appliance broke and now it's $120. I'm just like, oh, I don't want to go back into debt because of this. I've always joked out of my own insecurity about not owning a house about equity is a scam. But I do really look at the like fixed cost of renting these last years. I'm like, that was a better decision for me
Sure.
than like having a dilapidated house because I
Yeah.
couldn't afford to fix it. So it does really freak me out. Uh, but again, it's like the roller coaster analogy. I just got to get into it and do it and see what happens.
Speaking of seeing what happens, when you come back after the break, you're going to see what is the biggest waste of money of the week. And Spangle reads the news. All that's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Can I be petty for a second?
Please.
Do you
That's
remember there's a no names, no names,
okay.
no names? Do you remember there was another financial show when you and I worked together back in 2007, 2008?
Angela, yeah, I remember. No, I'm
No,
just
no,
kidding.
no,
It's
no.
not Angela.
Oh, no. This is not a woman. And the person they bought their okay. So I bought my airtime at
Right,
WXNT in 2007. I paid $26,000 a year, $500 a
right,
week, and then I still advertising for commercials, and so it didn't cost me anything.
right.
Other people didn't do that. They just the whole thing was their commercial, right? It was just all about.
Yes.
So there was a person who would somehow, this is pre-AI, would script and read their entire show. Do you remember this?
I don't remember it. Can you text me the name of the show so I do remember it?
Yeah, I'm doing it
I
right
think
now.
I have a vague idea.
And I mean, like, is it petty? I don't know, but it just blows me away that someone would sit and read. I've obviously done teleprompter stuff that makes it feel like I'm not reading, but I'm reading, and it is a skill, as you know,
Yeah.
to deliver off a prompter. There, I just sent it to you.
I don't remember that show.
Oh my gosh.
There was one nationally syndicated show that was lunchtime for me because it was automated and I knew I had 14 minutes to go heat some. One time I went to Arby's and got locked out of the building and it was a
Oh,
disaster. I was like, I can make it to Arby's in 14 minutes, but that may be the show, and that's why I don't remember it.
anyway, it was wild. All right, let's keep it moving. Biggest waste of money of the week. You're reading the news this week. How you feeling about that?
I'm excited. I'm ready. Pulling it up. I'm gonna do my best Christy Lee impression.
That's what I always tell Dame to do, is just do your
Yeah.
best Christy Lee impression. All right. So we are doing biggest waste of money. This is 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner Show, is Rolex Submariner Date Desk Clock. The Rolex Submariner is among the most recognizable watches on the planet. It's getting a table-ready makeover with this new deck clock. It says deck. It should be desk. Great copy website. It has an 80 millimeter hemispherical stainless steel body, same, that allows for adjustment atop its base, as well as a fixed knurled bezel, which you have, Spangle, with a 60-minute graduated scratch
That's what all the ladies say.
Cerachrome insert. Boy, a quartz movement powers the proceedings, joined by a secular calendar. Hold on.
Time out.
What is a secular calendar?
Is that like when we say before the common era instead of before Christ?
I don't know. But like secular, it's like, huh. Is there not? I'll have to look into it later. Anyway, back in, adjust for the days of the month and leap years, ensuring the accuracy of the date visible through the sapphire crystals cyclops. All right, Chris, you can see it here. It literally looks like a watch that is taken off of a strap and sits on a desk. Now, I don't know how big 80 millimeters is. Do you?
No, I don't know foreign things.
How well said. How much do you think this is?
A strapless watch that sits on a desk and it's Rolex. I'm going $150,000.
Oh boy, you came in hot today. Must have been the pre-workout.
Oh,
$10,270. I'll tell you this though, and I'm gonna say something that I might regret. I don't want to know anyone that has this.
It's only $10,000.
What it says to a guy who's on national television. All right, Chris, what's in the news this week?
All right, our first story is earlier this week, we got a confusing look at the U.S. job market, thanks in part to the ongoing government shutdown, which has paused official data releases. Private payroll processor ADP reported that employers added 42,000 new jobs in October, nearly double what economists expected. But a day later, the outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas, which is my favorite, painted a very different picture. More than 153,000 jobs were cut last month, the worst October in over 2 decades, mostly from tech companies leading harder into AI automation.
Well, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, right? Was there any doubt that the disruption of the government being shut down and the changes at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this is exactly what was going to happen?
Yeah. Add in tariffs. Can I add a conspiracy theory here?
We're not that sort of show, but yeah, go ahead.
That this AI business is being used as a cover to protect soft earnings and bad reports and a softening economy. And so Amazon says we're cutting all these jobs, not because we're having a tough time in the economy, but because of AI. That's it. That's the reason.
That doesn't seem that tinfoil hattish.
Yeah. No, I didn't bring any ethnicities into it. So
no, thanks for not doing that. Story number 2.
Nor would I. Okay. Story number 2. Retailers are still feeling the squeeze from the Trump era tariffs, and it's showing up in prices, especially at Amazon. According to research firm DataWeave, Amazon prices jumped 12.8% this year through September, compared with about 5% increases at Walmart and Target. The biggest hikes were in categories like home goods, apparel, and health and beauty. And experts say third-party sellers on Amazon are hit hardest by tariffs since they don't have the buying power or private label products that big box chains use to offset costs. That means shoppers are more likely to see higher prices on the Amazon marketplace giant. Yet, Amazon sales are up 10% from last year, suggesting consumers aren't walking away. In short, even as tariffs quietly keep inflation alive, Amazon's customers seem willing to pay for convenience.
Left turn. Do you think if the Supreme Court rules that President Trump's tariff strategy is illegal, unconstitutional, whatever the word will be, A, two-part question for you, Chris. A, will he follow it? B, if for some unknown reason he does, how in the world are we going to refund trillions of dollars and not crash the economy? Chris, it's up to you. What do you got?
My first thought was he will not follow it. Like, he will just say, no, I'm not doing it. And then we're in a constitutional crisis, because then, this attitude of what are you going to do about it is not really how the system works. And then second, they'll repay certain high profile people. So it looks like they're giving refunds, but they don't have the capacity or the ability to repay all the money that's been collected. It's just not possible.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a. Do you think, again, now I'm into conspiracy theories. Do you think the Supreme Court would possibly allow this to continue simply because they don't want to put us in the position of refunding the tariffs?
If anytime you read a New York Times headline that says Supreme Court justices seem skeptical of X, they're always skeptical in the questioning, and then this Supreme Court tends to side with the which is the crazy thing. Okay, let me get political here.
Yes,
these were the chosen Supreme Court justices to limit the size and scope of government and the executive branch in so many different ways. The administrative state, especially, that's why they were chosen by the presidents that chose them, and yet they have seemingly sided with the executive branch in their expansions of power. So I think they're going to side with the president because this is a long-standing power that the president has, and then they'll find it a convenient out, like Congress has delegated this responsibility to the president, and that's where it'll stand.
Fair enough. Can you go to story 4?
Yep. Tesla?
Yeah.
Tesla shareholders just went all in on Elon Musk, and it's going to cost them. In a closely watched vote, they approved what may be the largest CEO pay package in history, potentially worth up to $1 trillion. The deal ties Musk's payout to ambitious goals, making Tesla 30 times more profitable, multiplying its market value by 5, and turning it into a major player in AI and robotics. Supporters say the huge incentive will keep Musk focused on Tesla instead of his other ventures. Critics, including major investors like Norway's sovereign wealth fund, say it hands him too much power and sets a dangerous precedent. And it wouldn't be an Elon Musk story without a little drama. He reportedly threatened to walk away if the deal didn't pass. So even with today's 3.5% stock dip, which I think was yesterday, shareholders clearly decided that Musk is worth the gamble.
Let's talk about the ethics of this, the old Billy Madison business ethics of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a capitalist. I'm
Sure.
proudly a capitalist. You are a capitalist.
100%.
Gosh, I have a problem with this. I also make it a point of like not the old don't get in another man's bag, as the kids say.
Yeah.
I don't like talk about other people's money like this, but I will say it seems like socially objectionable to do this.
It's sort of like the great man theory of history that only World War II could have been won by Winston Churchill and FDR, and that only this person could have done that. And it's like a big, hot debated topic in history circles. And I would say that kind of fits into this. Like, is Elon Musk really the only person that can make this company grow and change? Like, I think you look at Apple, for instance. Steve Jobs made it what it was, but they've done fine since he exited the stage, sadly. And so giving a single individual this much power in not just the company, but worldwide, especially when they've been shown to be so erratic, it seems a little irresponsible. But again, I'm like you. It's if the person is worth it, they should be paid. But is there a such thing as a $1 trillion human being, in terms of their skill? I don't know.
I think it introduces the concept of moral hazard, where he'll do whatever it takes to hit those incentives, and that seems ugly, and that's also none of our business. Well, that's it for this week's show. A special co-host, Chris Spangle. Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Sending good vibes, because good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. It's Pete the Planner Show. Look at that. We did it.
Wonderful.
2007 all over again.
I was just as much mouthed.
And you're still holding that Glenn Beck book in your palm.
It's back here over on the bookshelf. I can't move my camera, but right here.
I read the book that you walked around with all the time. I was like, real subliminal, and I was like, it's fine. I mean, let's not get into that. I got to go. Jeremiah, sorry. Your boy, Chris, made the program. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a real honor. I was honored to be asked.
Lovely. All right, everyone, stay getting
What happens when a basketball superstar changes the course of an entire city? I'm Mickey Shuey, and in Beyond Clarkonomics, we tell the story of how Caitlin Clark's arrival to the Indiana Fever sparked more than just sold-out arenas. It's rewriting Indianapolis's long-term strategy for sports, downtown growth, and women's leadership. Listen at ibjpodcast.com or on your favorite podcast app.
Want to give your team a real edge? The IBJ Group Plan delivers unlimited access to every story, every report, every video from IBJ and Inside Indiana Business for your whole team. Cover some or all of your employees with one simple payment. The more you add, the more you save. It's smart, it's flexible, and it saves you up to 30% off the standard rate. Already have IBJ subscribers in your office? Group up and save big. Learn more and get started now at ibj.com/group-plan.